throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting the fool, this embarrassing, this flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us. And y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Trying to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defiant, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. At every bar, even though my bar's been the hardest. The scars on my face said I ain't always been the smartest, but I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeves, even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will ever see. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeves, even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will ever see. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, I can show you where my...
The type of guy that would ride with the breeze. I'm higher than most people, I'm cold and icicle freeze. I'm like him to Mike Tyson, I'm a bison, a beast. I'm hot like Jamaica, like right by the beach. My pops is from a spot where they're fighting for peace. 8 years old, out there watching people fight in the streets. All these sirens only make the violence increase. Yeah, we're still not loving police. It's that bright young American, nice, dumb, arrogant. Tight on a mic, but he might need a therapist. Heart full of kerosene, head full of fairy tales. Said that you're my homie, you don't know me, but I know you very well. Roll back on some West Coast shit. This whole track is wetter than your dress code kiss. About to hit the track, running on some retrofit. I guess so lit, I guess so bitch, now let's go.
I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeves, even if the beat stops, my soul will not leave. If I never stood tall, nobody will...
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. It's Tuesday. Hanging with the fellas, little sports nonsense and whiskey. Come join and have a good rest of your Tuesday with us. Pinky, Robert, cheers, my guys. How you doing this evening?
Cheers.
Ooh.
It's Tuesday, man. It already feels like it's been a long week for some reason. I don't know why, but we're here.
It's been a long week, my friend. You are not wrong. You are not wrong.
Something in the air, man. Something in the air. But overall, though, it's doing all right. Doing all right still.
All right. Excellent. You got your move completed and
moves completed. I'm all in. I am almost able to have somewhat of a non-blurred background again, so that's kind of exciting. So
yeah, you're getting there,
and it's working. Hopefully I'll have some other Star Wars stuff kind of up and displaying the brand a bit more, but we're getting there. Actually, finally, so every once in a while, so for my birthday, obviously that just passed, I'll go on a hunt at the different places and find some Funko Pops. Pinky and I are super into that. But Stormtroopers are my big thing, that and Darth Maul. And I just so happened, let me see if I came across a Thrawn Night Trooper, which is probably one of my favorite versions of a Stormtrooper that's come out in recent years. So I was super excited to add that to my variations of Stormtroopers.
Yeah, buddy.
Nice. I like it.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, gents. Thank you. Yes, good to finally be back. I know I popped in very briefly last week, but family called and had to celebrate with them. So got to do your thing.
That's what you should have done. You made the right decision. Don't worry about it.
Enjoyed
yourself. That's what it's about.
Exactly. So it was a good time. Good time with the family for sure. So, but definitely glad to be back with you all, talking some nonsense and some sports.
Excellent.
Yeah. Well, what nonsense do we have going on?
Well, like I said, the Acolyte season finale is happening right now as we speak. Been catching up with Andy on that. I told him that he should actually still watch the show as it's coming out, and he's actually turned a corner a little bit towards it. So I'm very curious to see how he finally feels about it ending tonight. So good stuff coming. House of the Dragon is also baller. Big things happening there. I know you two are going to get there in a couple of weeks when it finishes up. I think there's 3 episodes left, actually, so we're almost there.
I know I'm going to have a pretty busy August.
The boys is finishing up this week too.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty
Yeah,
busy.
how are you
August.
gonna watch all this, Pinky? Plus preseason, plus
That's
hard
why I
knocks?
watched it. I have my weekly. I stay on top of it.
So it's gonna be Monday through Friday at night is when we're gonna have to like really like just hammer it and get it done.
You're gonna have
Yeah.
to do some real legit binging, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll do like Sunday mornings, and they don't do a lot of preseason games on Sundays in August. It's usually Fridays, Saturdays.
Yeah.
So we'll have a little bit of time there to do that. But yeah, we House of the Dragon. The wife won't watch the boys, so that'll be one I'll have to watch on my own.
That makes
And
it easier
then-
though, because you're not waiting for somebody else
Right.
to, and there's
I'll just jam through it.
I'm
And
done.
then, especially on Sunday mornings when my dumbass dog gets me up at like 5:30, and I have like 2 hours before anybody else gets up. So
There you go.
that's what I've been doing.
Bedtime.
I can't, man. As soon as I get up out of bed, there's no going back to bed, man.
That's how
Oh,
I am
that's
too,
brutal.
Caleb. Once I'm up, man. Like even
Yeah, I mean,
I'm-
I understand the feeling, but I usually try to at least make an attempt. That sounds like a 10 a.m. nap time. That's what that sounds like.
which is also fine. On those
Yeah,
days,
so-
it's good.
It's a good day.
I feel more and more like my father, and 3 or 4 o'clock, I feel myself wanting to take a nap. So totally
Man,
understanding that vibe now.
I've been a big time nap dude since I was a little guy, since I can remember.
But naps are tough on me though, man. If I take a nap, I wake up feeling worse, man.
Oh, I need
It's,
some naps
it's
on the
rough.
weekend. It's
Ooh,
rejuvenating.
man. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to wake up early, watch some college game day, watch the 10 a.m. games, take a little
There you
nap,
go.
depending on what they're looking like, and then, jump into the 1:30 afternoon games. After a little nap, then you're ready for the primetime night game and whatever else you're looking to accomplish. It's hard to beat.
Oh man, like my family used to do like chili cook-off. So on Sundays or Saturdays when we do college game days or whatever with the block party, that's exactly what happened. Watch those games in the morning, do the chili cook-off, go sleep for an hour, then watch the final game. That's what it was about.
Well, college football came out this week, boys. For
I
those
want
that
it
bought
so
the
bad.
deluxe edition, I don't need the deluxe edition. But I'm really sad now, boys. I'm really sad.
Pinky,
Yeah,
gotta get with the times,
you're
my
having-
man. You are behind.
You're having some issues, kid. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't really know what to tell you. I mean, I've got one sitting in my basement that doesn't even get touched, so I decided against buying the game for now because I've got games downstairs that are still unopened from when I first bought it like 3 years
Bro.
ago.
I
Literally,
mean, hey, if you
like,
ever look
legitimately.
into to do a cleaning, I know a guy that plays video games frequently.
Oh no, the wife wants them very much so. So they will stay there and they will continue to collect dust until at what moment in time they're able to be used, I don't know. But for now they're there.
Understood. Meanwhile, Pinky's sitting here like, man, I would just love to have the option to
Yeah.
just have that.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I get a lot of time to play anyways, but
Just to have the option is nice.
to have the option, usually during football season on my early Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings, I'll play some Madden. That's like my time. I'll get to play a little bit. But I'm going to have to make that decision. I think I want the new TV for football season more than I want the Xbox though. So, and I know that's a tough decision, but
I mean, what are you trying to what do you have and what are you trying to get? Like what kind of
I've got like a 42-inch.
Okay.
I'm just trying to upgrade it to like a 55.
Yeah, I can't blame you there because I'm sitting here looking at I don't even know what I'm at now, like the 65 and the 80-inch in the basement.
Like I would do that because the prices on those have come down pretty good. But I've got mine mounted above our fireplace, and there's not enough
There's some
between like
restrictions.
the stair railing and then the wall. So,
Yeah.
but I measured it out, and I can get 55.
All right. Do your thing. I mean, it's not like you have a huge space there, so it's not like
No,
I think I might be slightly oversized, but my wife thinks we're maybe slightly
you're a
undersized.
little oversized for where your couch sits. You
Well,
put
we
your
moved
couch
it.
back some more, and
We moved
You're
it back.
fine.
It's in its barely prime viewing range now. So I mean, it could go back another foot probably if I really wanted to, but there's so many things behind it that it is what it is right now.
The size of my so I got a 65-inch Samsung. I love my TV. The only thing I wish it had, which my next TV will be Dolby Vision. That's the big thing I'm after next.
yeah, I don't know what difference that makes, but
It
Cheers
so
to you.
it just it makes the picture a lot crisper for certain things. So, I mean, I'm a movie snob, so that's a lot of the stuff that I look for.
Yeah, Pinky,
Um,
Zach, you know how he gets when he starts researching stuff. I think his consensus now is basically Samsung's better picture for like movies, LG's are better quality for gaming.
Which I have an Asus for my computer, and when I do use my Xbox on my monitors, it looks perfect anyway. So I don't really care.
I have a Samsung and a Hisense, so I look
Right.
for a good deal with
I'm-
something that is somewhat quality.
I saw Sam's Club's got like a 55-inch for like $400.
Yeah, they've got
So-
good deals. Costco and Sam Club actually have really good deals.
Maybe, like I said, if things go well for the wife selling homes, maybe I can talk her into buying me the TV and the Xbox.
Cheers to that, man. Hoping for you. Or I mean, hey, we did just go to Dave and Buster's this last weekend, so you could just play a bunch of arcade games and win one. Just saying.
I mean, that was like 250,000 tickets, though.
Oh, it was some ridiculous amount. Sure, I
Be
was.
better at
I
the
didn't
game,
say it
Pinky.
was smart.
Saying.
I was just
You
saying it was a
spent-
way.
You definitely
Be better.
spend more than the $500 the Xbox costs.
Unless you win the lottery on tickets.
Go
I mean,
go
maybe.
do the wheel. Boom boom boom.
Yeah. What's next, fellas? We What are we
So I
moving
think
on
that's
to?
it for next week is actually wait, is it next week? No, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. Deadpool.
Yeah, next
Um,
weekend.
And I think that Caleb has something to say about his shirt, but I'll let him go for that.
No, nothing. Just
pointing it out.
letting people know.
Okay.
I mean, that might be true, but I mean, that hasn't mattered in like 20, 25 years.
Matters every football season, Pinky. What are you talking about?
There you go.
Not at least
Anyway.
Nebraska hasn't had to make a lot of those decisions.
I didn't say anything about Nebraska, Pinky. I just made a gesture towards a very specific statement. That's all.
Man, Pinky's just out here just coming for it already. Man.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're just we'll just go on there.
Just saying, that's what real men do. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Before we get
Well-
into our main topic, Caleb, you got any other sports Ocho 8 stuff that you need to talk about?
Nope. Sorry,
No-
just
no
watching
Olympics?
the MLB All-Star game.
Oh, that's
AL.
right. That's on.
AL just went up 5-3 off a 2-run shot, bottom of the fifth with 2 outs. So it's actually a fun game. No, there's not a whole lot else going on. Olympics are the end of the month. I did, in our intro, you got that scene of Usain Bolt running that. I don't know if it's the 100 or 200, but that gets me pumped to watch Noah Lyles run the 100 too and see what time he can put up this year. I love those races. The 100 and 200 men's, watching those dudes fly is crazy.
Yeah. I forget the guy, the runner's name, but his Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah,
setup
it's Noah
and stuff.
Lyles. Yep.
Love it. I love it.
Noah Lyles, fastest man on the planet right now, as it stands right now.
I was about to say I thought that was the case, but I couldn't remember.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a technicality though, because Usain Bolt is still alive and does own the record still. but he's older.
The fastest active runner. Is that
yeah,
what we're
yeah,
calling
yeah.
it
So
then?
it's like, how do you want to phrase that and interpret it? I guess because
The
Noah
fastest
Lyles
active
is
runner?
the
Okay.
fastest man on the planet right now. Like, I'm not sure anybody could outrun him. But Usain
That doesn't
Bolt
mean
could
he's the
still
fastest
sit.
man.
Yeah, Usain Bolt could still sit there and be like, yeah, but those records still have my name next to them. So, so yeah, I love those events. So, other than that, Pinky, no, not a lot else going on these days. We had the home run derby last night.
That was a terrible national anthem, and apparently the chick was drunk.
Grammy-winning country singer, man. She had to be on something, and that didn't sound like a boozy rendition, if I'm just being honest.
Yeah, she put out a tweet. I believe she's checked herself into rehab.
Yeah, she said she was drunk, but
there's some more there.
Yeah. It looked like there might have been some other things floating around in that system.
No, let's not lie here.
So that was an interesting way to start the home run derby. I'm not necessarily a big fan of the new format. 3 minutes, 40 pitches. I kind of like just going back to the 10 outs, and you can get as many as you possibly can with those 10 outs. I was a big fan of that format. I know that was around for a very long time. They've mixed it up a couple different times since then. See what happens going forward. But the favorites bombed. They did not look good at all. And the guys that I said were not known to be home run hitters, but are dark horses because it always seems like some guy comes out of nowhere, seem to be the guys that came out of nowhere. So Teoscar Hernandez won. Congratulations to him. He had always wanted to be in the home run derby as like a lifelong dream kind of thing for him. So super cool that he not only got to participate in one, but then he went out and won it. It's a fun competition. I'll always watch unless they just find some way to just totally butcher it. But I still think it's fun. I laugh because I'm surprised more guys don't bring out like their quality pitchers from their own team and work with them on just throwing like 90-mile-an-hour heat right down the middle, or wherever they would want it, because it's a lot easier to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball out. It takes less power from you to do so,
right?
Than it does guys throwing 50 to 70. So I've always been kind of amazed that they don't do that, and it's always like the third base, whoever throws their bullpen practice, just to let them get swings in or whatever it might be. I've always thought it was funny that they bring those guys in because you wear down after a while. You get tired after you take that many rips and trying to swing as hard as you can. Make it easier on yourself, but nobody's ever done that. So maybe there's a reason I just don't know about it. I haven't looked into it enough.
Easier to see that ball go past you when it's going 90 miles an hour, my friend.
I mean, at that level, though,
that could be a little embarrassing.
I guess, but I feel like at that level, 90-mile-an-hour heat that is coming to a specific location for you every time.
If that pitcher can hit that location pretty regularly, sometimes they struggle a little bit.
I agree, but that's why I'm saying you bring in like an actual pitcher, not the third base coach. You bring in an actual pitcher, and if they're not even 90, if it's just 85 or whatever, they can throw comfortably with accuracy, not trying to overthrow as hard as they can kind of thing. I feel like that would be a big boost for somebody, but never seen it done.
Maybe in the future, somebody will think about if the ball comes in with more velocity, it leaves with more velocity, and I don't have to swing the bat as hard.
Yeah, so man. I feel like this is a great way to get rich, and we need to make this happen.
How are we getting rich off of this?
Right.
Because we just go and be like, hey, and just
they're not going to
market it somehow. You market it somehow. There's a way to do it. Anything you can make money off of anything. Let's do it.
Let me warm up the old arm here, guys. Let me get
it going Caleb, again. Get into it.
Been a home run while.
Derby. Home run derby brought to you by Sports Nonsense and Whiskey.
I think I got 3 at 80 left in it. Probably. I think I could still.
That might be pushing it.
I think I can get there, but 3 might be pushing it.
I might give you 77. I don't know if you're getting 80.
We'll see. I've hit 80. What was it? 87 was my high at one point. Now that's like throwing with everything I got, not trying to be accurate at all.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Just kind of throwing the general area of the strike zone. But I did hit 87 on a gun one time. I'm
Nice.
small and skinny, but I got some good ligaments in me.
Got the
baby.
power.
Yeah. I got that good whip.
All right, baseball's over. That's all right.
I mean, there's plenty of soccer to talk about. There's a lot happening there. I'm all over the place, Caleb. I'm
Go.
really torn.
Go.
If you want to roll, baby.
So first and foremost, number one, that really sucks for Messi, and I don't know what that's going to mean for him. That really sucks.
He says he's fine.
I mean, yes and no. They won. So bittersweet slightly, maybe only because he didn't take one of the, the assists or goals that ended up winning it for them. But
did you see the size of his ankle though?
that thing ballooned up quick.
Like,
I know that feeling all too well. Yeah,
and the worst part about it was non-contact. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah, you just step wrong and it's done, and you feel it and it's over. So unfortunate, but they did still win. So a little bit of redemption and be able to move forward there. Best team in the world, Argentina. I don't think there's much of a question about
back
that.
to back.
Yeah, they dominate Copa. Now here's the thing, though. De Maria is done officially on the international level. Even if Messi plays in the World Cup in 2 years, I think at that point he will be a shell of what he was when they won the World Cup 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You're already starting to see a little bit different speed with him.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so
I'll say the MLS is having an effect on that.
Yeah, I mean, duh. he came here to live in luxury and chill with his family, not play soccer. Soccer just has to be what he's doing. So it's not like he's trying to stay up at the highest level of competition that the world has to offer. So that's another thing. I think he's still Messi I think he'll still be 85% of his top form. And Messi at 85% of his top form is still probably one of the best 5 to 6 players in the world. So it's not like there's a huge drop off. I'm just talking about on his own standards.
No, yeah, I see what you mean.
So I think he'll probably, if I had to guess, I think he will find a way to make a run at the World Cup and look at the possibility of repeating, which, as we've talked about, only 2 other teams have done in the history of the World Cup, Italy and Brazil. So I think that is enough to keep him going for the next 2 years. And then I think that will be his swan song. I will not be surprised if he retires from soccer permanently after that World Cup.
Yeah, I could see that. Honestly, I personally think he should just retire now. Finish this out.
Money. Why?
Finish this out for like the next couple of years, but I wouldn't want to play in the next World Cup.
Why? Man? That's your name, and he would go down. For me, I don't think it would be hard to argue anybody over him if he took Argentina to back-to-back World Cups, along with everything else he's accomplished at the international and club level. You could say Pele all you want, but Pele would only have one more World Cup. I don't know what the Copas would look like. He would have nothing as far as the Champions League and La Liga and everything else that goes with that when it comes to club level trophies. The amount of goals and assists and everything else that Messi owns for record wise, that back-to-back would etch him as the guy, I think, in soccer history. And honestly, at that point, you're talking about a giant leap for anybody to ever come close to him.
Yeah, no, that's
so.
Very,
when you
very
made as
true.
much money as him, and you start talking about there's nothing left for you to do in soccer, if you start thinking about retirement and you decide there's one more thing left, then you'll do what you need to do for the next 2 years to do that.
True. Very true. But I will say though, Colombia did play a hell of a game. They played really good, and they had a lot of good looks. And personally, I think Colombia played a little bit better, but Argentina played great still. And that's the key.
Yeah, Colombia could not find the back of the net on some
They had
chances
some-
that looked just gimmies. So
I thought
they had
they were
going to
be up 2 in the
Yeah.
first half.
Yeah, it
I
sure looked
really
like it.
did.
Second. It sure looked like it. So they will be interesting in a couple years. Argentina is going to be interesting because they're getting a little bit older, but they do have some youth coming up behind them. And then you look over in Europe.
Which,
You look
yeah, I was
at
going to
what
say,
Spain's doing.
17 years old, man, and showing some MVPs up.
Lamine Yamal. That kid can play. He's small though. He's like a
little guy.
He's a little smaller than even Messi was when he first started playing. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how he handles the competition and the physicality of the men's division as he moves forward here, because that grind, the season, I don't think people really realize how long the soccer season truly is. You're talking basically 9 months straight of high-level competition between your league and the Champions League, if you're in it, and everything else that goes with it. So there's a lot of tournaments in between just your regular season and this and that and the other, and that can wear. Now, I know, look, he's only 17, right? So body bounces back a lot quicker. You heal a lot faster. But it can also lead to injuries. Yeah, the injuries and stuff because of physicality is more what I'm discussing. So be interesting to see what he does. But Spain just, I mean, they'll lose a couple guys before the World Cup rolls around, but that youth that they have right now is looking top form.
Yeah, 4 weeks from today, the Premier League kicks off again. So
yeah,
and they're still playing international football. So do they really have a break? It's 12 months year round.
For a lot of guys, it is. If you're in the top club and top country stuff, you're playing a lot. So
yeah, which it's something to be said for that, because you got all of these other athletes around the world that only play a few months out of the year, and then you've got some of these soccer stars that are just always grinding. It's amazing to see.
Well, and I can say this from firsthand experience, soccer players are the most well-fit and conditioned athletes in the world. Maybe
without
a
doubt.
Swimmer might be up there.
Swimmer or gymnast, I would say. Swimmer or a gym. Maybe dance. I would say
because gymnast isn't going to have the stamina that those guys have. Maybe
I would then, if not a gymnast, I would definitely say like a professional dancer to a degree. I mean, I know some world that's not considered sports, but I would definitely say that'd be some of the stamina needed for sure.
Ice skaters, dancers.
Yeah,
they do it all the time.
You're talking 2 to 3 minutes compared to,
well, you're talking 2 to 3 minutes for their performance. You're not talking about the hours they spend every day
for the conditioning.
Same with the soccer players, though. So when
absolutely, I'm not saying they're better. I'm just saying
you can do it all day, but if you're only doing short bursts, you're not going to be able to go 30, 40 an hour. That's just the nature of the conditioning.
Fair.
Yes,
that's fair.
You're great for 3 to 10 minutes, whatever it might be, because that's what you've conditioned your body to be. So while you might be in top form compared to other people or other athletes, just because of the ferocity at which you're moving for those minutes, but after that, your body will break down quickly. Long distance runners, cyclists, soccer players, hockey players are actually up there. I know people may not realize that, but because they're doing like shifts of 60 to 90 seconds, maybe. But because of them going all out every time they go on the ice, and they're only getting a minute or two break, and then they're doing it all over again. But I mean, I grew up playing soccer, and every other sport that I played, basketball and the likes, conditioning parts were always easy. Conditioning for soccer, there was what they called a hell week.
Ugh.
And that was basically your training camp, your preseason, whatever you want to call it. And there were scrimmages and stuff, but dude, 3 times a day, 2 of those sessions were nothing but conditioning, straight running. And it was everything from the mile and half mile to sprints and cones and stuff.
I mean, at that point, I'd just go run with the cross country team.
Intermittent and everything in between. So while people look at soccer players and like, oh, they're just kind of walking around or they're not moving, that they're moving. And I think Pinky got a taste of this 4th of July weekend, how much they actually do move when you're up close and personal and you're actually seeing them live compared to what it looks like they're doing on TV.
And we watched the Spain game together actually on Sunday. So I was actually gonna ask Pinky what he had thought about from what he had seen.
I mean, that was, again, when you're hanging out with good people, it's fun. The bar was very in tune to the game. Everybody was like excited when there was a shot on goal. Everybody got like, oh, like, you know,
either way, either side, there was a lot of engagement.
So that's always fun, and I think that's what you need. You know, that's what's fun about sports, or being an avid sports watcher, is when you get those moments. I am not totally tied into soccer or dialed in. Like, it's just not my thing. But
I'll get you there.
I don't know about that. But I did cheer. I was rooting for Spain because, you know, F the Brits. And I've been to Spain and I enjoyed the country. So, you know, at least I can say I've been there. I mean, I would have rooted for Deutschland if they were in it, but they got knocked out. So
I don't even want to talk about it. That was a handball, and we're moving on.
Oh.
It was not in an unnatural position, Caleb. Like, I'm sorry, but that was a handball.
There are a couple things that would possibly say, like, soccer might be able to use a review system, but then I could also see where it slows down the game as well.
They have a review system that is
garbage.
One of the most inconsistent things I've ever seen in my life. It's crazy.
That was so there was the article that Caleb had put out for the MLB possibly using robot umpires. And I'm like, hey, I'm all for something that betters the accuracy of calls, but let's make it consistent to where we're all on the same page and not like VAR, because that is garbage. Whoever, like, it's a great use of technology, but you need to be consistent.
It's not the technology that's the problem. It's the people in human form interpreting rules on their own merit instead of just following the rules. I mean, look, offside, simply put, states if any portion of an offensive player's body is ahead of the defender's body at the touch of the ball, you're offsides. Like that is what it is. You can get upset that they're nickel and diming and the dude's heel was in front of the other guys, but that's kind of the point of the technology. It literally showed you that the guy's heel was further than the defender. Offsides. Like, you may not like it. If you don't like it, then we should look at changing the rule.
I don't like offsides.
Or the way it's used.
It should be center mass.
I agree with center mass if you're going to keep it. I personally think offsides in all sports should go away. Now,
but then you got so much cherry picking going on.
I say that, and I don't mean in like football. Offsides, and like you have
that's a whole different thing.
I mean, like hockey, soccer, like those sports for offsides.
We talked about this at the game. I'm with you, Caleb. Cheers.
It's cherry picking at its finest, and
that changes your defensive strategy.
Yeah, like that's a strategy. You're playing a man down on the other end. Then if you're going to cherry pick, and
you do not get behind me. That is my job as a defender. You do not get behind me.
How often do you see soccer players who are able, and I mean, goalkeepers do this all the time, that launch the ball from the other side of the field? So if you do that all day, the game becomes uninteresting.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't do that all day because, like, I would just have my.
If you take off offsides, you're telling me that's not going to happen. That's not going to be
center back would always be behind you. It's that simple.
It's like Joker getting the ball and launching it down the field.
Will that happen?
Don't let a guy get behind you.
No, of course it won't. But that's the beauty of allowing it to be introduced to the game. It would help scoring a little bit. I don't think it'd be as much as people think it would.
The scoring's fine as it is now.
No, it's not. Scoring needs to go up a little bit. One of the things I've always hated about soccer since I was a little kid, and it drives me nuts to this day, is this idea of possession and moving the ball when you have it almost at the opponent's 18 and you kick it all the way back to your goalie and you start this whole all the way over again, moving up the field thing. Can't stand that. It's always driven me nuts. If you have to do that, you messed up somewhere. And you should just give it to the other team and deal with it. So, yeah,
that's not how it works.
I don't care if that's how it... Look, Robert, I'm an aggressive person when it comes to sports. And I don't like this possession, defensive play, move it back, I'm going to control the ball just to control the ball mindset. I would much rather push and force the defense to make a mistake than sit there and just try to hold possession for 80% of the match. You know how many times you've seen in soccer where the person that only had 20% possession won the game because they actually shot the ball? Like, that's one thing about soccer that I think
that was Spain's problem the last, 6 years?
Look, dude, if there was ever a team like a Spain or a Brazil or an Argentina that used their ability of touch and possession to continuously always attack the other team, they would score an insane amount of goals. Because that kind of pressure constantly on another team, on another defense in any sport, they will break eventually. And when you break, 9 times out of 10, those floodgates open. So I
that's
just
what
don't
happened
understand
with
why soccer's always
the
done
Germany-Brazil game. Brazil tried to play the possession game, and Germany took all the chances they could.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also depending on who your opponent is, though. Like, if you're going against Spain, you have to take those chances in the small amount of possession you'll get because they make an average of 1,200 passes a game.
Yeah, but if you're always putting pressure on them, they're not going to be able to complete as many passes and hold possession as much as they do. It's just simple.
I don't know. I feel like there's still enough of a human element that would impact that thought to where it doesn't work out, Robert.
But I think this would help the game and move it along, make it more aggressive. But I get it. You're a purist. You don't want to see it change. It's fine.
It's not that. I don't see it working out. I just don't.
How often do you see a cherry pick in basketball actually lead to a bucket?
I don't watch basketball enough, so I'm not.
You said very rarely, right?
Joker will make you pay.
Right,
but
there
again,
are some guys who can make you pay a little bit more, but
it's more about somebody's shooting up a 3, so I'm going to leak back at this moment.
Or some guy was just lazy and didn't get back on defense, right?
Right. So, it's rarer in basketball.
It wouldn't be any different in soccer or hockey. I truly believe that. Because if you sit there and cherry pick and the other team goes on the offensive, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage.
Because you have less guys down there on defense.
And no guy is going to sit there and wait to cherry pick continuously. What it will lead to, though, is more exciting plays in the open field where you get a beautiful pass that isn't called back because some guy didn't time his run correctly. You just see a crazy run from somewhere and a beautiful pass from somewhere, and you get to see what happens. Could that lead to a few more goals? Yes. Will it lead to this insane upsurge? No. Will it lead to more exciting plays, though, in soccer? Absolutely. And that's where I think you bring more eyes in. There's more excitement.
Because you need more than what you already have.
Yeah, I think you do. I think
it's one of the most watched sports.
So is cricket. You checking that out?
I am now since the U.S. shoved some points down India's throats, but that's besides the point.
Look, I'm just saying the sports that have evolved over the years continue to grow their audiences. Soccer is actually kind of plateaued. And there is potential if they don't do something to where you could see a regression because basketball and American football are going to continue to gain popularity.
They're gaining more foothold internationally.
They absolutely
sure. Was it the U18 team that just lost to Japan or whatever by triple digits?
Well, that's because the actual people who play American football are not going overseas right now to play in some random tournament that nobody actually knew about until America lost. You're talking you're talking like probably like 12th string, Robert, maybe if we're lucky. Like it's not.
Maybe a little bit better than that. But these aren't the guys
I would
already
be
recruited
surprised
to. They're probably
based on
not
that
guys
age
recruited
group.
to like Georgia and Alabama and all those things.
Nah, yeah, dude, those guys are at Elite 11 and things of that nature. They're going to camps that matter. They're not going to play Japan overseas in football. Like it's just not what it is. So, as those sports gain in popularity, they will start to take fans away from soccer. That's inevitable. It's what happens. So I think one of the easiest things soccer can do to evolve a little bit without really changing the game would just be to change a simple rule. Just change a simple rule and see what happens. You could always go back if it turned it that badly. Like you could always be like, yeah, we tried that. It was really bad. We're gonna go back to having offsides. Like that's an easy switch. You're not changing goal size or the amount of people on the field. The other thing I think soccer should do, which I've never understood why this isn't allowed, there should be unlimited subs. Like this limit on substitutions has never made sense to me. I think you should have unlimited subs. You should be able to bring guys on and off as often as you want to at any dead ball, just like basketball, or you could even set it up like hockey. And that would be really cool, actually, because of the openness and the flow of the game. You could have guys
just do like a random line change.
Yeah, dude. Why not? If you've got the refs right there, who can the line judges and the second and third officials and things of that nature can be there, making sure like, okay, you can't run on until they run off, but then you never interrupt the flow of the game. You allow fresh legs, which would allow the pace of play to stay up. Then the game doesn't slow down more towards the end of halves, or especially the second half of the end of the game. I personally think those two rules for soccer would be huge additions, not subtractions.
So then let me ask you, what would you do then to help impact baseball?
Oh, we don't have time. Robert, one day we'll get into that and hear my full rundown. But I think robot umps are a step in the right direction. I've always
believed. No, I think that's a great idea. I really do.
Baseball is the only sport, major sport, I should say, where there is no interpretation needed. Tennis, you might be able to get away with it. I'd have to think a little bit harder on tennis. I don't think there's any need for interpretation in tennis either. The ball's either out or it's not, and that is what it is. But so that's with baseball. You're out, or it's a strike, or it's a ball, or it's fair, or it's foul. Like that, like that's how simple baseball gets when it really comes down to it. The balk thing might be interesting. I'm not quite sure if a robot can call a balk. So that is the one thing I'm a little unsure of with the baseball rules.
Well, that's just but I don't. Does the ump actually call the balk, or is it the guys from the sides that call the balk?
Anybody can call it. Any umpire or official.
I mean, I feel like don't they have a guy like kind of deep behind second or in that area?
Well, yeah, but like any of those guys can call a balk, is my understanding.
Yeah, I don't know how that works that well, but I just want to see consistency in the strike zone. That's it.
That'd be nice.
We get to that point. Like I feel like then hitters will like. I just feel like you shouldn't have to study how an ump calls a game.
No, like that should be the one thing you don't have to delve into. So yeah, I'm there. I think there's some unwritten rules in baseball I would completely outlaw and ban. And I think this idea of people taking their sweet time to throw a pitch is one thing. And I don't mind the pitch clock per se. What I hate though is batters stepping out of the box after every pitch. Me personally, I would say batters, once you step into the box, you're live and you cannot step out until your at bat is over. So the pitcher could pitch at any second. You just have to be ready. The job of the batter is to just be ready for the pitch, and then you move forward from there. But other than that, I mean, baseball needs to evolve a little bit too, and I think it's still trying to figure out how.
All right.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, yeah, Robert, get it, buddy.
Yeah. Nope. I don't, gentlemen. I'm gonna have some strong words this evening.
Strong words. Okay. Do you need some emotional help? Do we need a hug?
I will. I will.
Oh, fun.
I will.
All right.
I'm gonna demand blood.
Have a few more sips and we'll
Man, blood. What just happened?
We'll do some
So
calm down
the
mode.
acolyte's coming out, and I had just got a notification, and I opened it up by mistake, and they did something, and I'm not sure if I'm really happy about it.
You got a spoiler. Yep, that's
You
gonna.
know better than to look at your phone.
He should.
I'm this.
All right.
Yep.
Don't
we'll talk
spoil
about
it for us.
We'll talk
Don't
about
spoil
it.
for us.
I'm moving on. I'm gonna. Yep. I need a minute. Let's get into the next topic. I believe we're getting out of baseball. Let's talk some football or something. But I need to.
So, before we get into our main topic, the AFC South, I do want to talk about the greatest weekend that we have coming up. First weekend of September. We've got Chiefs and Ravens to open up on Thursday night. We have Packers Eagles on Friday night. On Saturday, we've got Texas Michigan. And then later in the day, we have Nebraska Colorado. And then we have opening day Sunday football, which has a great, bunch of great matches as well. What a weekend. What a weekend. I am stoked. Although I think I gotta double check. I think I will miss the CU Nebraska game.
Ooh, that's gonna be unfortunate, probably.
I'm going to Green Day, so it'll still be fun. Green Day puts on an amazing show. Yeah, they play at 5:30. So yeah, I'll be at Green Day.
Yeah, you're missing that.
So Green Day's awesome.
Is Colorado Nebraska a night game?
5:30.
Oh, I thought you said that's when Green Day the concert was starting.
No, the concert probably starts at Smashing Pumpkins is also playing, and then there's a band before them. But Green Day's going to play for a while because they're playing the whole Dookie album and they're playing the whole American Idiot album.
How do you know that?
Because they told it. They've already announced it. It's on their poster for the concert. It's the 30th anniversary of Dookie and the 20th anniversary of American Idiot.
That's probably worth the ticket then, yeah.
And the concert, the doors open at 5:30.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. Okay.
So.
Well, I will be making sure dinner is eaten before that kickoff. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, you better get that stuff done quick.
Or it's pizza and hanging out in front of the TV. That might be even better. We'll see what happens.
Pizza sounds like a great idea. Great idea. No hassle. All right. NFL football, AFC South preview. I was thinking about it. I was like, for the NFC South, I was like, there was a couple things that we discussed, and I was like, okay. I was like, starting to think, do I need to get hyped up for this? And I was like, there's actually some intriguing storylines that
I think every team has some intriguing storylines.
So I will let you guys do the rundown here, but if you were to pick the team that finishes last in the division, who are you picking?
Tennessee.
The Jags.
Okay. Well, Robert says the Jags. Caleb says the Titans. I say the Titans too, so the Titans win. Why are the Titans going to finish last in this division, Caleb?
I think, and say it's crazy, that's fine. I think there's still more talent on that Titans team than people truly realize, and they could dark horse their way into winning this division. that would mean Will Levis played out of his mind, though, in order for that to happen. But they have weapons on offense. Like, they just do. Quite a few, actually, with Hopkins and Ridley, Conwu at the tight end, Spears and Pollard in the backfield. They've still got Treylon Burks as well, first-round pick from a couple years ago. So it's not like there aren't weapons, right? And the defense, I won't say is good, but I think they can be decent. But again, this all hinges on what Will Levis is capable of. And while he had that one game, his first start, where he came in and just looked insane and lights out, it regressed from there. Let's not get carried away. But again, he showed a flash there where you're like, this guy's worth being our starter. We're okay with moving forward and seeing what we can do with a better system around him, better weapons, things of that nature. The reason I'm saying they could dark horse their way there is because if Will Levis played out of his mind out of nowhere, they have the weapons to do it. I don't think Will Levis is going to play out of his mind, and I think they see some struggles from him first year as a starter, more so than any other quarterback in this division, yes, including Anthony Richardson. So because of that, and because I think their defense is the worst defense in the division, I see them finishing last.
Robert, do you have any thoughts on the Titans?
I don't really keep up with the Titans. It's one of the few teams I'm researching and doing active.
There's been for years just like that team that you're just like, it's the Titans. Like, they just don't matter.
There was a couple years there, though, not too long ago.
They were tough.
Them to possibly be in the Super Bowl.
They've been a tough team. They've had some talent, but they've never been a flashy team.
No, and they've never been able to just put it all together at the right time either, for one reason or another.
So, in today's NFL, they're a team that, at the end of the day, they typically get wins. But if they're playing a team that can put up 14 points right away, pretty tough for them to come back from that. That's really
that was under Vrabel and his philosophy. So let's see what the new staff does.
So they did hire a new coach, Brian Callahan, and he's coming from Cincinnati. He was the OC at Cincinnati for a while, learning under Zach Taylor. And I thought what was really cool is he hired his dad to be the O-line coach, Bill Callahan.
That's not, Nebraska fans, say what you want about the man and how he decided to run our program, but he might be the best offensive line coach in the entire country at any level. That dude, when he coaches an offensive line, that offensive line is usually one of the better ones in the league, regardless of the talent on that line. He is a great offensive line coach. I think he's a great coach. He's just not a great CEO. And that's really what you have to be at the college football level. So there's a lot of other things you do other than coaching. And you kind of have to do that at the NFL level too as a head coach. That's kind of the nature of a head coach. You're not as much a coach as you are a manager of things and people. And I don't think he's necessarily great at the managing aspects or the decision-making parts of that job, which is why he hasn't always done great with the head job where he's been. But if you know anything about him, man, he is a phenomenal O-line coach at the very least.
And you did mention Will Levis. That is absolutely their biggest question mark. Is he going to be the dude? And I did like that they played him last year. They gave him. He looked great. He looked not so great. He's kind of in limbo of like, what's he going to be? He's got this season to prove it. If he doesn't prove it and they suck, probably going to find someone else.
I would look at moving on for sure. You gave up a second round, not a first round. And, like I said before, there's weapons. They didn't say, hey, we're going to kind of draft some people to go around you. They went out and hired, paid, whatever you want to call it, veteran talent. They put veteran talent around him. That should be no excuses.
They drafted guys on the line. J.C. Latham and Devondre Sweat, which were two great picks. And again, that fits what we like to do, build the line. So I am definitely on board. I think they're actually going to win 6 7 games, they're just not going to be in playoff contention. I don't think they have any chance at playoffs. Well, Robert, since Caleb left, what team is coming in third in this division?
The Colts.
My man. Dead on.
So, I guess real quick, I'll just go off on my Jaguar tangent. I picked them to go last because of how they finished in the end of the season last year. They just, fell apart. They ended up losing to the Titans, actually, 28-20.
They did.
And personally, I think Jacksonville can't figure out their face from their butt right now as far as where they want to move forward in their team. They're just a mess. Now, of course, the Titans are going to be the Titans as they always have been, but I just think Jacksonville's just fallen off. Trevor Lawrence isn't it. But that's why I picked them over to be last over the Titans, because the Titans still went, what was it, 6-11, I think, last year.
So the rebuttal I'd give is the Jaguars were 8-3 before the wheels fell off, and the wheels did fall off kind of around the same time Trevor Lawrence got hurt, and he never played good football after he got hurt.
True.
His ankle was he probably shouldn't have been playing on that ankle, but he did. He finished the season, so he's a trooper. But yeah, like, they fell off a cliff. They lost multiple games down the stretch. They would have been in the playoff. Like, all they had to do was win like 2 games, and they would have been in. But
yeah,
they did not. So I rebuttal your thoughts on the Jaguars just because.
Sure.
I think it coincided with his injury.
Makes sense.
So I agree, like, where you said the Colts would be the third team in this division. I agree with that wholeheartedly at this moment.
Interesting.
Caleb has something to share.
So wait, if that's being said, back up for just a moment. Robert, you think Tennessee would be second?
Based off of that, yes.
So
That's a spicy take.
It is
a spicy take. That's why.
Yeah, it's very spicy. I actually think that we're going to see a 3-headed race for the top of this division all season, and I think I have a hard time not letting the Colts finish at the top when it's all said and done. So putting them third, I actually have a hard time not putting them first.
So
over the Texans?
I think the Colts have the best defense in the division. And I think Anthony Richardson's going to surprise some people this year. And I think their weapons on offense are scary good.
So I would argue that point as well with you. I don't think they have the scariest weapons of the division, because I think the Texans,
I didn't say they had the scariest. I said they're scary good. I think Pittman has been underrated because he just hasn't been used. I think Adonai Mitchell is really good. I think
I'd agree with
Taylor
that.
is arguably the best running back in the league, with arguably the best O-line in the league.
That O-line is nowhere near what it was.
It's still really good, and if
I don't know about
everybody's
that, man.
healthy, it looks even better. And I think Anthony Richardson could be just dangerous. Really,
he could be special. He could, if he can finish a game.
That's the kicker. He's got to stay healthy, right? I understand that. I totally get that.
And he's not alone. Jonathan Taylor's been hurt quite a bit too.
He has. Look, we're not talking about injury. We're talking about all things healthy, right? That's what we do. And then we mention the injuries. So fair points to you. And I wasn't going to not discuss them. So you're okay.
Would I be shocked and surprised if the Colts are fighting for the division? No. They are going to be pretty close. I don't think the gap between them and the Texans is not great. It's not a gigantic, it's a small gap. But I don't think that defense is the best in the division anymore. I think it's still good. I just don't think it's great. Their best pass rusher is their rookie. I mean, DeForest Buckner's good on the inside, but they've got they've drafted a pass rusher, Latu.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say it right. I'm probably
A lot of
butchering
question marks with health in his neck and things of that
Right.
nature, but skill-wise, might be the best pass rusher in the draft.
I'm not a huge Pittman guy. I think he's good, possession guy, fine. I do think Adonai Mitchell will be special in the long run. I think he's got a lot of talent. I don't know if that'll, what rookies, sometimes they come on the scene and they're amazing. Sometimes it takes them a year or two to develop. Kind of depends on the situation. AR-15 could be special. If he's not, they do have Joe Flacco, and he's not on his couch. He'll be in training camp from day one. So they at least came with a backup plan. I could say that they probably knew they had to get rid of Minshew. Just Minshew did play fairly well. And I think the team...
Yeah, but you can't have him as the backup.
Right.
Yeah, the whole thing, for sure.
Right.
For
so
sure.
It's good to bring in Joe Flacco, but...
Look, I think Houston overachieved last year. I think that's pretty fair to say. And I think they'll come down to earth a little bit. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of talent on that team, right? But there's so much young and inexperienced talent on that team. And then you throw in things like Stephon Diggs. You throw in things like expectations. You throw in things like the rest of the division healthy. I think that starts leveling out that playing field. And then, what do we always talk about? Your schedule. The Colts get to play a much easier schedule than the Texans do. So then all those factors to me go, man, I could see this, and I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't know if they play the last week of the season, but how epic would it be if the Colts and the Texans are playing the last game of the season and it's for the division?
Well, the last games of the season are division games, so
I know they are. I'm just saying
they'll be playing someone in their division.
I don't know if that, but either way, how epic would that be? And I kind of see that's how it's going to play out. So the reason I give a slight possible edge here, and I'm not saying I'm picking the Colts.
They play the Texans and the Titans play on the 5th.
So Jaguars and Colts
Titans,
play.
Jags, Colts, which the Jags Colts could be for the division. In all honesty, the winner of that game could win the division, because I don't think the Jags are that really lower than those two teams. I just have some question marks about the Jags defense. Actually, some big question marks about the Jags defense. Their offense, I'm not worried about at all. I think it'll bounce back. I think the offense will be fine. A lot of weapons on that offense as well. Not as much as there was with Calvin Ridley leaving, but I still think they have some solid weapons, great backfield, Trevor Lawrence, so on and so forth. The defense, there's been some talent drafted, but none of that talent has come anywhere close to expectations other than Allen. So I don't quite know what to think about that defense, which is why I don't have them.
Man, how good would that defense be right now with Aiden Hutchinson?
I mean, dude, I don't know.
Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Allen?
Yeah, that'd be dynamite.
But
don't be taking my boy away. Leave him where he is.
It's one of those things though, where
speak ill.
NFL evaluators.
Shut up.
I don't know if there's a league that is more willing to draft off sheer potential in the top of the draft. The NBA, you have to, though, because it's a bunch of 18-year-olds, right? Because of the rules set up. So it's just the nature of the draft. It just is what it is. The whole draft is that way. But you're still trying to base it off of
Major League Baseball, the draft. Hockey. The NFL is the only draft where you actually have some data before you draft the guy.
I disagree. I disagree because
they play 2 to 3 years in the NFL.
The top of the you're not listening, Pinky. I understand what you're saying, but you're not listening to what I'm trying to tell you. The NFL is notorious for at the top of the draft, there's always a handful of guys who get drafted off sheer potential. They might have had a really good year, but it's always like their measurables were off the chart, and there's a bunch of other great players around him. Who did the Jags just take out of Georgia that everybody's like, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on his name, so I apologize. Walker? Is it Walker?
Trayvon Walker.
That dude has looked not great.
I think he had 8 sacks last year. It's not number one pick worthy.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. The NFL is a tort. Ryan Leaf being drafted was basically.
Whoa, no. His years at Washington State were stellar, bro. You cannot bring Ryan Leaf up as an argument there.
Yes, you can, because people were moving him above Peyton Manning, not because of what he did at Washington State, but because of his immeasurables. Because of how strong his arm was, because of he was more mobile.
It was his game at Washington State plus the measurables.
It was not his game at Washington State, Pinky. They were not that good.
He was awesome at Washington State. He was a Heisman finalist.
Washington State was not that good. They weren't that good.
Trayvon Walker did have 10 sacks last season, so he's getting better.
You're okay. You're just missing the point. You're acting like I'm saying these guys are trash. Like I don't. You're just not listening.
I agreed with you. They shouldn't have picked him. That's why I said they should have picked Aiden Hutchinson. I agree with you on that point. I think
it's
you're
drafting the
Ryan
potential of Traven. I get what you're saying, Caleb. I got you. We're good.
Oh no, that's getting feisty again.
No, I'm understanding where Caleb's coming from. I understand where you're coming from, Pinky. But what Caleb says makes a lot of sense.
Anyways,
there are players that get overdrafted because of their physical talent.
I just don't see the Jags being able to really compete just yet, unless that defense finally steps up and that talent all of a sudden blossoms, which I'm not thinking is going to be the case. So
yeah, I see them more as an offensive team than defensive team. I'd agree with that. They're not. Their defense should be okay. It's not going to be top 10 or anything.
Right. So because of those things, that's why I think you have, the Colts and the Texans fighting out this division here. Now, I know I've kind of jumped around here a little bit. So we were talking about the Colts. I'll move back to the Colts for a second. I really think, and there's a lot of reasons for this that I won't go all the way deep dive into, but I really believe the Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor combo is going to be devastating to a lot of teams this year.
Hopefully it should be fun and exciting if they are, but again, we still got to get AR-15 through a full game first.
Why do you think it won't be? You keep talking about injury. Fine.
We just have
to get injured. Take injury out of it, Pinky. Why would you think it won't be?
We haven't seen him finish a football game yet.
We have.
He's played in 4. He has not finished the game in any of them. He was taken out in every single game, and the 4th one's where he tore his shoulder. So that's where, again, yes, physical talents, what he can do, seems to be a good kid, seems to be smart. Think he should be good. But the physical brand of football he played, he didn't make it through a game, man. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to bank that this guy's going to be all amazing Superman when he hasn't finished one game.
Let's do this, and let's try this again. Taking injury out of it, why would you say no? Because, again, you're talking about all these other teams injury-free. So talk about Anthony Richardson injury-free. Why would you think they can't compete?
I don't think their defense is as good as you think they are. I don't. They're okay.
I think we've had this conversation a few times in the past where I feel like you've said that before, and they continue to just produce basically top 10-ish seasons year in and year out, and their talent hasn't changed. They've added to it.
We'll see. I just don't think they're going to be that great defensively.
Let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to be combative or poke the bear.
You can be whatever you want, my man.
No. I'm just trying to give you a heads up here. I'm really not trying to poke the bear with this one, okay? With them being a very consistent defense over the last couple of years, hovering around that top 10, adding some pieces.
What pieces? What pieces did they add besides Latu?
Namely Latu. I think that's a big piece.
Because I've got Latu, and their main free agent was Joe Flacco. I looked at the list like there was nobody else worth mentioning. So who else did they add?
Pieces. They didn't necessarily add a starter, but they didn't necessarily need to add a starter if everybody's healthy again. Leonard's one of the best linebackers in the
He's
league.
not there anymore, bro.
When did he
He's
leave?
gone. He left like last season.
All right,
And he
who am I
changed his name. He's not
Who am I
Shaq. He's not Leonard anymore.
Yeah. Who am I thinking about?
I don't even know what did he even change his name to?
Anyways,
Shaquille. He's Shaquille Leonard now. He was Darius Leonard to start with.
Nice.
Now he's Shaquille Leonard. He's with the Eagles.
Yeah, that's not who I'm thinking about. So my bad saying Leonard. Hang on a second.
That is the guy. That is the guy. He came out. He was a Pro Bowler right away, and then he just fell off, man. Like that's the guy. He was defensive rookie of the year.
Point. Yeah, I've always known him as Shaq Leonard, I feel like. Anyways, their defense didn't. Their defense is basically the same as it was last year. Okay, we'll try to keep it simple there.
Let's go with that because that's a better statement.
Fine. Their offense will be better. So all things considered, why would you be down on the defense?
Their offense could possibly be better. The majority of the season we watched last year was with Gardner Minshew, who we both like and think did a pretty good job. He's not there anymore.
But they're also missing Jonathan Taylor.
Not when Gardner was playing. Jonathan Taylor was playing. He just missed the first 4 games because he was on PUP. And their 1-2 punch of Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor was actually pretty good when Jonathan Taylor did come back and was healthy.
Quiddy Pay, Buckner. And they still got some pieces, dude.
I'm not saying they don't. I just don't think they're as great as you think they are. And that's my opinion. That's my hill. I'll stick to
agreed. I feel like you say that every year and then.
But you can't tell me they picked up a lot of pieces and then they really didn't pick up anybody to make them better.
I don't mean pieces in a way that are like starters. I just mean depth. They've had a lot of issues with injury. They went out and added depth with not necessarily big names, but they allowed them to not be as thin as they have in the past when injuries hit them is what I'm thinking. But I just feel like they're going to
I think the Colts are going to be third in this division. That might not be by a whole lot, but I think they'll be third in this division.
I concur.
Robert agrees. I don't know if that means anything. But
no, it doesn't mean shit, but that's what I mean. I told you that before you even went over all of this.
At this point, he's got Tennessee second, which I said they could be a dark horse to win the division if Levis plays well. So Robert's got Levis playing pretty well.
If we see the Levis from that one game, not the rest of the games, but that one game, yes.
I mean, I'm not writing any of this down, so we're just gonna have to go over these again when we, really.
Yeah, we can do that for you. Not a problem. Pinky, if we see Levis from that one game, you're talking about them in the AFC Championship. That game was that was a crazy situation, dude. What did they hang, like 42 or something like that? And he had like 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, that was stupid. That doesn't. If he plays like that all year, yeah, Tennessee's gonna be really good.
I don't see that happening from the rest of what we saw. But if he did, it would be. They would definitely be a dark horse.
You're talking like 75 touchdowns and like no interceptions on the season and like 8,000 yards. Like you're winning a lot of games if your quarterback can do that every game. First play of the game, 55-yard bomb, touchdown, moving along.
Now, again, I would also project that, again, Anthony Richardson has to play all the games. He's got to play them all. We can't have him out for a couple weeks, but if he keeps playing physical, there's a good likelihood that Joe Flacco is going to get a couple starts.
I mean, okay, so Joe Flacco comes in, but you start talking about that, and every team has a guy or a couple guys that are like, if he stays healthy or they're screwed.
I mean, almost everybody's got that situation. Like, if I don't know, well, actually, Andy Reid might be able to get some good play out of Carson Wentz, but if Mahomes went down, we would all think they're pretty much screwed. But maybe Andy Reid could get some good play out of Carson Wentz. Who
Andy
knows?
Reid could definitely get a good play out of Carson Wentz. That won't be an issue there. That's like the one situation where you're not going to be worried because it's Andy Reid.
But most
I mean,
teams,
like,
if their star player goes down, they're going to have some issues.
Houston's entire offense is what ifs. Outside of CJ Stroud. And even CJ Stroud's a little questionable because he missed a couple games last year his rookie season.
He missed 2.
So, I mean, you want to talk about, like, if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, okay. Well, if the entire offensive talent of Houston stays healthy, because they've all got issues. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs doesn't have a lot of injury issues.
He's nicked up quite a bit.
Nicked up and being out are 2 different things.
Yeah, well, if he's nicked up and not playing well and the other 2 dudes are out, that's a problem. Like, Damian Pierce, Joe Mixon, Dalton Schultz. Like, well, if all those guys can stay healthy, those are a lot of what ifs, dude, and they've all got issues.
I wouldn't say they have issues like AR-15, who's never completed a game. So
his rookie season. Plenty of dudes have missed their rookie season and come back.
I've never seen a guy not finish a game 4 straight games. That he actually started. I've never seen that happen. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like it's a huge what if. It is what it is.
I just feel like you're being very, very subjective with your what ifs of injury.
I'm just subjective on that one where I've never seen him finish a football game. When he finishes a few, that'll probably go away. But right now, I wouldn't want to bank everything on the Colts on him finishing a game at the moment. Hopefully he does. I think it'll probably make the Colts more exciting. The Colts are another team after Peyton Manning, after Andrew Luck, that are in that kind of Titans boat of really, they're not really an exciting team to think about. And, you know, I think every fan base should have a team that's exciting to watch.
I feel like the Colts are going to be really exciting to watch this year.
Hopefully you're right.
I mean, the only reason you have the Colts finishing 3rd in the division is because Anthony Richardson's never finished a game.
And I don't think their defense is as good as you think they are.
You think they're worse than the Jags defense?
I think the Jags offense is better. And we're in an offensive league, my friend.
What about the Jags defense is better than the Colts?
I didn't say the Jags defense was better. I said their offense.
I meant offense. Sorry. What about the Jags offense is better than the Colts?
I think they've got the better quarterback at the moment.
Okay.
They've got a better. Well, the coach might be questionable. Their O-line is pretty good. It's not great. It's pretty good. ETN is pretty good. I know you know that.
Yeah, but you're saying he's better than Jonathan Taylor. You're saying
I didn't say he was better. As a whole, I think the Jags offense. I would take the Jags offense over the Colts offense.
So again, what I'm hearing is the only reason you're picking the Jags. Then let's break it down even more. Is because you like Trevor Lawrence more than a AR-15. Like that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fair.
Typically,
just say what it is. Don't say the offense is better. Just say the quarterback's better. That's
the team with the better quarterback typically wins.
Okay, fair.
And that's typically what happens.
I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback. I think that's where
that could be debatable. After a season of AR-15 playing, probably he will be better than T-Law.
Stand on some ground and make a projection, Pinky.
The Jags are going to be number 2 in this division.
Just say you think Anthony Richardson's going to be injured again. Dude's not going to play, and that's why you're going. Make a projection and just go with it, my guy. Just say it out loud. Quit dancing around.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
I don't want to put that juju on him.
Say it with your chest, my guy. Come on.
I don't want to put that juju on him. I'm hoping the
you
best.
You already did. You're saying
I just said we haven't. I said we haven't seen it yet.
If he could show me, if he's not injured, if
we haven't seen it yet.
Just say
he's like a rookie. He's a rookie because we haven't seen it yet.
He's like an RG3.
No.
Goodness.
We haven't.
RG3 may have been a Hall of Famer if he knew how to slide or avoid contact like Lamar Jackson.
RG3 is a tough case because it's like he completely, without his ability to run, he couldn't learn how to play quarterback from the pocket.
Well, yes, to an extent, but to ask somebody who never played from the pocket to all of a sudden just magically learn how to do that is crazy. Nobody ever built an offense
You
around
have
skill
to
set like Mike Shanahan did.
You
And
have
that's
to,
why I think it's
you know,
crazy that Mike Shanahan isn't in the Hall of Fame already, because look at the offense he built for RG3 and what RG3 did his rookie year until he got hurt.
Look at his coaching tree.
Well, that's another good reason. I'm just saying, just a snapshot. Go look at RG3's rookie year and tell me Mike Shanahan isn't a Hall of Fame coach. Like that Washington team was not supposed to be good. They were not supposed to be competitive, even.
If he doesn't blow out that knee, they beat the Seahawks that year.
Agreed. So that's a situation where the player unfortunately ended his career because he didn't understand how to avoid contact correctly. He can say whatever he wants about the coach putting him in bad positions. I don't think that was the case, especially that particular play. He dove head first and allowed the defenders to put a hit on him. And if you're going to allow, the man who laid that hit on his knee, what is he, 300 pounds?
Robert, you should Google that, my friend.
Google, what am I looking up?
RG3 Seahawks knee injury.
No, wasn't it Baltimore that caused the knee injury? It was Baltimore, and then he played in the playoff game.
Oh, that might have been it.
A couple weeks. It was in. Why am I?
Was it Nada?
Yeah.
Was it Lodi Nada that hit him?
Lodi Nada. Thank you. Who laid the hit on him? That's a 300-pound defensive tackle.
That's a 350 defensive tackle.
Whatever you want to
you're
call
shortchanging him. You're shortchanging him.
Like at that point, that's the player's fault. I truly believe that. And RG3 put himself in a position that cost him a potentially really amazing career. Side note, story, move on.
Football historians, we are.
Try to be a little bit.
We're just really old.
Yeah.
So what's that?
It's the Seahawks game.
No, well, I think that's when it finally tore. But he did injure it against the Ravens.
Exactly.
But then it officially tears against the Seahawks.
It was like a grade 2 sprain or something against the Ravens, and then he blew it out on that run just trying to plant. So, but yeah, okay. So you have such big giant question marks about Anthony Richardson that you've got them third in the division because of it. I can understand that. Just say it with your chest.
No, I won't be shocked if they get close to first. It's not shocking. Like I said, they're right there. The only team that I don't think has a chance is the Titans.
Agreed.
Period.
Cheers.
Period. The Titans, I don't think have a chance. Which again, they could be back next year. I just don't think they have a chance this year. But
they still need a few pieces. I think again, the Jags have the talent. I just don't think that talent's lived up to expectation on the defensive side. So that means, they finally have to start playing the way they were drafted per se, and I'm not sure if that's possible. So you have question marks about Anthony Richardson's health. I have questions about the talent living up to expectations on the Jags. I don't like the injury debate, but I understand where you're coming from with that due to the history of said players. So I'll allow it, good sir. The Jags, though, like people are like they lost Calvin Ridley. That offense is going to take a step back. I actually think losing Calvin Ridley might help Trevor Lawrence take a step forward, similar to what Patrick Mahomes did when he lost Tyreek Hill. I think Trevor Lawrence actually relied on Calvin Ridley a little too much, tried to force the ball to him a little too much, and wasn't free-flowing the offense like he was the year before, where things looked a little bit better, and the reason people had such high expectations going into last season. So, Gabe Davis, dude, you got to show us something now like you did against Kansas City a couple years back, or you're going to be out of the league here soon. But it's possible, right? He's shown some flashes in that offense. Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence have proven they can take trash and turn it into treasures.
And we both like Brian Thomas.
Well, and I was getting there, but Zay Jones and who is the other guy I'm drawing a blank of with Christian Kirk?
Evan Ingram.
No, the other wide receiver. Dang it.
Well, they had what's his name, but he left.
Yeah, I know he left. I'm just saying last year they had some cast-offs, including Christian Kirk, who I was high on, but there are a lot of question marks about some of the receiver core they brought in. And all the dudes have played really well in Jacksonville, actually. The receiving core has never been an issue, in my opinion. Regardless of what you think about the talent level, and they were not good here, they played well in Jacksonville. Evan Ingram has stayed healthy in Jacksonville, which everybody had hoped in New York he would, and he couldn't. So, for whatever reason, the talent around Trevor Lawrence hasn't been bad. Play calling, his inconsistencies, call it growing pains, whatever last year was, it was just off. And I don't think it's going to be off this coming year.
That ankle injury he had, because when we all saw it, we were like, oh, he's done.
Yeah.
And he played the next week. I don't think he should have played.
And you're right. That could have messed him up and just really caused some issues, not being comfortable in the pocket, so on and so forth. So I think this offense does have a step up, bounce back season, whatever you want to call it. I just don't know if it can be elite enough because honestly, outside of ETN, I don't really think they have an elite playmaker at this point. So I don't know if the offense can play at a high enough level that allows them to compete for the division. And going back to the Colts, I think Anthony Richardson could be an elite playmaker. Jonathan Taylor can be an elite playmaker. Donnie Mitchell can be an elite playmaker. I think Pittman still has an outside chance to be an elite playmaker, but it would be more in the mold of a Brandon Marshall, Anquan Bolden, where he's not going to go over the top, but at the end of the game, he could have 12 catches, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I just feel like if you want to say the talent level between Jacksonville and Indy is the same, I won't argue that. I just think Indy has more potential for elite playmaker status than Jacksonville does. And maybe that's ultimately why I think Indy goes to Jacksonville.
I guess we'll see when we look at that schedule, won't we, baby?
We will. Yeah. And that schedule will play a lot into it because Jacksonville and Indy should have similar strengths of schedule. They shouldn't be that much different compared to what Houston's going to play. So that will be interesting when we look at that to see where that lines out as well, for sure.
And obviously, Houston's going to win this division. Houston's going to win this division. There. I mean, Tank Dell broke his leg. It wasn't an ACL. He should be fine. He did get shot this offseason too, but he should be fine. I do think Joe Mixon and Daniel Pierce make a pretty good 1-2 combo. I'm actually CJ Stroud did a great job finding Dalton Schultz last year, which is why they re-signed him. I think Schultz makes a difference. And then, bringing Stephon Diggs just creates more of a who are you going to cover? Now, for fantasy, I don't know if I like these guys in fantasy because I feel like 1 week it's going to be a Diggs week, another week it's going to be a Nico Collins week, and then you're going to have like a week where Tank Dell has 3 touchdowns. Like, who knows what week it's going to be for who? You'll get a decent floor from all of them, but I don't think you're going to get like that consistent stellar play where they're going to get drafted in fantasy. You're going to overpay for these guys, and I think they're going to basically eat into each other's value.
Fully agree.
That's a tough situation, but I think when you add it all together, this offense gets better. Hopefully CJ doesn't miss any games this year. Those 2 that he missed, they still made the playoffs. Maybe it doesn't take him to the last week of the season if he had played the full season.
I said this last year. I still fully believe this. If he had played both of those games, I would be hard-pressed not to have him as the MVP last year. His numbers would have been right there, and his team more wins.
His numbers to finish the season came down compared to where they were at the beginning. So I don't know I
Well,
think
when
he
you
would
have to take
be.
a 2-game break in the middle of the season as a rookie, that's going to throw off the momentum.
He would have been in the vote. He would have been in the vote. I don't know if he wins, but he would have been in the
I'm not
vote.
necessarily saying he wins. I'm just saying it would have been hard pressed to just say he's not the MVP. I mean,
Well,
he
I don't
plays.
think
They probably have 2 more wins. Didn't they lose both the games he was out?
Now
Now I'm going to go look at their schedule.
You look that up. He might have only missed 1 game. I don't know.
Thought he missed 2.
The game he came back with against the Broncos, and he actually played pretty good that game. I believe, but
He missed 2 games. He missed. Well, let's see here. Weeks 15 and 16, Tennessee and Cleveland. Give me a second here.
those are 2 weeks you cannot miss if you're talking about MVP voting. That's what happened to Jalen Hurts 2 years ago when Mahomes ended up winning it. It's because Jalen Hurts got hurt and he missed 2 games, and then Mahomes overtook him.
Yes. Let's just see. So they lost to Cleveland. They beat Tennessee. But, you finished 11-6 instead of 10-7. What does that playoff picture then look like?
Right. They probably played where they needed to play because they played Cleveland and they whooped the shit out of them. So they were probably fine where they were. I don't think that they changed their playoff seeding any. I don't know if it impacts them.
Maybe not. Maybe. But I'm just saying 2 more games. I mean, the guy finished with, bear with me here again. 1 moment, please. 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He lost Tank Dell. He
probably needed to be closer to 30 touchdowns. But...
Well, you play those 2 games. You don't have the loss of momentum in the second half or those last 2 that he comes back for. Yeah, I'm not saying he wins. But again, I think we're kind of...
He would have been in the voting. I can absolutely agree with that.
Especially as a rookie, which is crazy.
Now, I think, and I understand where you're going, where you're like, oh, the Texans, they may not win based on they have to play a tougher schedule. But I think they will still win the division because I think Will Anderson's going to get better.
Yep.
And he was awesome. They picked up Danielle Hunter, who's awesome in his own right.
Agreed.
And Danico Autry, who's another awesome pass rusher. And we both agree that D'Amico Ryans is a star.
Yes.
At coach. So I think they're going to continue to move forward and win the games that they should win. Versus last year, they lost a couple games that they should have probably won.
So again, I don't disagree with you. I just think the problem becomes a very young team with an insane amount of talent, but a very young team that overachieved last year that is now playing a first place schedule. And it's a team where people aren't going into the week going, we kind of got an easy week here. And then realizing that's not the case too late kind of thing later in the season. So I think there's a lot of factors that unfortunately stack against Houston to where if you're going to make me put money on it right now, I'll pick Houston. I have no issue saying that. When I look at Indy, all things healthy, everybody good to go, everything involved in this situation, I would be hard-pressed saying that Indy doesn't win the division because of all of it. So,
we'll see when we do the schedule.
Both sides of my mouth. I understand that. I get it. But, gun to the head kind of thing, Houston's winning this division. But let's wait and see what that schedule looks like when Pinky and I finally break it down with Robert for his very first time and truly see what that's about. Yeah.
Is Robert... Wait, hold on. We need to hammer out these rules of engagement here. Is Robert the deciding factor? Is he the swing vote
God,
this
that's
year?
a lot of power you're giving.
Because
Well-
last year was Pinky Jr. was the swing vote, and I think the year before it was Andy.
Well, yeah, but that's only because it was only you and I on the cast. Robert gets he's part of the cast.
I'm
Dude
I'm
gets a
here,
vote.
man. I've got more
So,
than 2 weeks.
He gets a vote.
You can call him the swing vote all you want, Pinky. I just think that there's always going to be a swing vote when there's 3 of us. So
Who gave this kid a vote? Does this kid get the vote?
I feel important.
Pinky's like,
He old enough to vote?
Pinky's like, Robert, you're part of the podcast, but you have no say in the schedule release and situations of records. So I'm bringing. Pinky's like, bring in the reliever. We need a reliever.
Does he own a plot of land? Is he allowed to vote?
I
don't
do
know how
also
that
still
works.
have Pinky's picks for for the Broncos, so we still have that save to rely on too.
Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. Yes, I'm pretty sure Robert will be the swing vote for you, Pinky.
I mean, Robert does see eye to eye with me quite a bit, so
I feel like I walk a pretty fine line for the both of you. Let's be real here.
shut your mouth, Robert. It's fine.
Listen, call it what it is, Pinky, but I walk a fine line here.
I think fine line is bad verbiage because that makes it sound like you're basically just here to appease both of us, and that's definitely
All right,
not
that's
what you're
fair.
here for.
I still all right. You know what? I still have very strong opinions that still fall under both categories, depending on the topic of conversation.
We'll
I
see.
mean, I do appreciate that he's not just sitting here throwing me a cheers and saying "fuck you, Caleb." So that's a bonus.
Hey, and we do have intelligent thoughts to talk out sometimes when I know have some background information to go off of it. They are rather challenging and entertaining.
Goodness.
So
And I think we can agree. Nobody can tell you to fuck you. Robert can't say that. I can say that.
yeah,
That's it.
I haven't earned
Robert
that
doesn't
right
have
yet.
that.
I mean,
Not
yeah,
yet.
if anybody else says it to me, it's going to be an interesting reaction and conversation afterwards, probably. So that's.
I think
it'll be
actually,
great.
if anybody were to say it would be our popular guest co-host Cam, I could see that happening one time, maybe.
No.
Oh no!
You don't think so?
If that said person said it, he would be removed instantly.
Oh, like Pinky did you? So then we
Yeah.
all have one.
Yeah.
And then I need to find my moment.
It would very quickly move to that. That would be end of conversation number 1, real fast. Yeah.
Oh, boys.
You two are going to be the only ones that I'll give Zach. If Zach ever came back on, Zach.
Oh,
pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, Zach would do that immediately. Like,
My
I would
brother,
just sit.
my brother will say it a lot too. So outside of you 3, I'll get Robert gets a pass just because he's part of the cast. So if he wants to say it, fine. I'll probably just laugh him off. I won't take it seriously like I do.
I was
Pinky.
about to say I'll need to have a
Yeah.
real good reason
Yeah.
to say it, and I'll have some facts to back it up. But
outside of you
reason.
4, you better have a real correct reason to be telling me that. Otherwise, you're just gonna. I'm not gonna be mad. I'm just gonna boop remove. Done. You're done talking. Thank you. Nice
also,
having your
Pinky,
insight.
thank you for my Detroit draft koozie. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome, buddy.
Been
You're welcome.
getting a lot of use up here for sure.
So
I've never used a koozie, so
Yeah, I don't.
I
use
was
it.
like,
Koozies to me are only for people that sip on their beers
So-
and don't finish them.
A lot of my family lives in Texas, so koozies are a big thing.
Yeah. I've heard
So-
that from my Nebraska family too. It's hot. It's humid. It
Yeah,
makes it
for my-
warm faster. Well,
My
then
cousin's
drink it
wedding that I
faster.
was part of the groomsmen for, I got my very own if I can get it, special koozie, and then I got the wedding one. So I actually have a pretty good koozie collection. It's just not one of my more popular things I like to have out.
I probably do too if I found them all laying around.
Yeah, no,
For some
I've-
reason
I've
they
got
don't
a
get thrown
good
away,
amount.
but I don't use them.
I've
because
got
they
some good
drink my
Star,
beer.
I don't know if I have any more. I used to have some good Star Wars one. I'm not sure where they are though. If I even have.
And now
them.
that I don't drink beer and I only drink brown water, I don't have to worry about it getting cold or warm or anything. It's just always good.
mm,
True.
oh man, I gotta.
I mean,
I
it's always good for a
gotta
good
have.
Coke or a
I
Sprite.
gotta have some Dos Equis. I got to. Got to.
Yeah. But yeah,
All right.
koozies are for people who don't know how to finish their drinks. That's always been my opinion, and I stick to that.
Listen, I don't have AC running constantly where I'm at the moment, so I have to make sure my drinks are well taken care of.
Beer in my mind has never been something to just sip on.
No, but I still like putting it in a koozie.
So you know what I got to decide here, boys? I got to decide what whiskey, if I want to switch it up this year, what whiskey do I want to take shots of when the Broncos score touchdowns this season?
I feel like you got to go with a local brewery this year.
Well, I've been
or distillery.
Distillery.
Sorry,
I've done Screwball.
Well,
It's been my go-to.
Didn't you do the banana something or other at some point too?
I do have the 99 bananas as well. I probably want to do a bottle of Howlerhead because Howlerhead's all right. Well, you gotta get it cold though.
I
feel like doesn't Breckenridge have a Broncos one?
They do, but that's not a. I mean, you can
He's
shoot.
not trying to take shots of the good stuff straight to the dome every
right.
time.
All right, yeah, good point.
I mean, not that the Broncos scored that much.
Is it touchdowns or any score? I can't remember.
It's touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what.
So the first year of Russell Wilson, I did get desperate enough that I moved it to field goals as well. But that's because I was really desperate.
I say you should do Fireball this year.
Ugh.
I've done Fireball in the past.
Axe and Oak, man.
That's not a shooter, Robert.
You're talking good stuff, man.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'd still shoot it every once in a while for a good
shots of it. But if they're scoring, 4 or 5 touchdowns a game sometimes, and you're also
that's a risk you are willing to take.
You go get a silver tequila, or like you get, there's certain things that you shoot. Tequila. You don't shoot the good whiskey. You just don't do it. Because it goes. I mean, again, we're talking.
Okay, Biggie, this is what you're doing this year, and you're not going to be incredibly happy.
Ooh, Biggie.
Yuck.
Ooh,
yuck.
Biggie.
No.
Goldschlager.
It is not.
No. I don't even know if you can call that a whiskey.
No, you can't call it a whiskey. It is a shooter. That is a shooter.
What is Goldschlager? Like, what is it even called?
Have you not had
liqueur?
No, it's peppermint.
Schnapps.
Oh, peppermint schnapps.
No, Goldschlager is not peppermint schnapps.
It's a schnapps.
It's like Fireball.
It is a schnapps.
It's a cinnamon schnapps. It's disgusting. It's like Fireball. It's not good.
Not Goldschlager, Biggie.
It's not good, Biggie.
Biggie, this is what you're going to do.
But I have done Goldschlager before, so
This is what you're doing. I know it's something you've never done before. You're not going to be happy about it, but this is what the season is going to be, and you're going to just man up.
Words.
You're going to man up this year, and this is either going to be par for the course for the season as far as the Broncos and this entity, if you will, their equivalency, or it's going to be something that you do and it elevates the team. Are you ready for this? Because you're doing something you're not going to enjoy, but it's going to be one of those things like a lucky charm, if you will. Are you ready? You're taking shots at Jack Daniels this year. That's what you're doing. Every touchdown, it's Jack D.
Yeah, no.
That's what you're doing. Make it happen, Pinky.
Hold on. So the other part of this equation is the wife does it, and Pinky Jr. does it, and anybody in the house with me,
which will probably be me.
Which Robert will show up to a couple games. So it has to be something that most will enjoy, at least a little bit.
Why?
I mean, that's the whole point of doing shooters. You got to enjoy it a little bit.
No, you're doing it for the team. And Jack Daniels is a down and dirty, in the trenches, true American, red-blooded, blue-collar, get-it-done type of whiskey. And that's what we need this year from the Broncos. Man up, Pinky. Make everybody else man up around you.
I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Jack Daniels is god-awful.
I tried, ladies and gentlemen. I tried.
Jack and Jim are not my friends. They can go. They're not my friends. So I'll keep thinking. I do like Tawaka. Tawaka cold is good. I even do Jaeger. I like Jaeger.
That's like cough medicine, bro. That's disgusting shit.
I mean, We're not sure how many times the Broncos will score this year yet, Biggie. I do think they scored about 24 a year last year. I think they'll score 24 a year this year.
This is what you do then. Because I'm trying to get you to do something new. Not the same old, same old. And I know you're not a Jack fan, but Jack's a solid level whiskey, whether you like it or not.
With Coke Zero, it's fine.
No, God damn it, Pinky. This is what you do. Go get the bottle of moonshine cherries. And every touchdown, everybody pops a cherry.
I mean, those cherries are pretty easy, though, man.
Yeah, and they're also a shot and a half minimum every time you eat one.
No, those were pretty weak, man. We ate the heck out of those at the original pod. I mean, I could shoot that bottle of Buffalo Trace that you give me when Russell Wilson starts the first game. But...
I was waiting for that to come up. I wasn't going to say it, though.
Biggie brought it up, so.
All right, fine. Do the Buffalo Trace.
No, that's the good stuff. I don't want to do that.
The Broncos have won like 4 games all year because that's about as much as that bottle is going to get you through.
No, hold on. It's touchdowns, not wins. It's touchdowns.
I know. And that's about 20 shots worth of whiskey.
And the Broncos are winning 6 games.
Not if you're planning on that whole bottle being all you're drinking this season for touchdowns.
It's not. I whatever I buy, I'm gonna end up buying more than one.
I'm just saying.
I made it through
Buffalo Trace I'm giving you. So I'm just saying.
That's all you're drinking. At least to start. The last year I made it through 2 Sam's Club bottles of Screwball. So
terrible.
I'm gonna need to figure out what the hell I'm gonna be doing for it.
Look, I gave you 2 really good ideas. You don't like
them. You went to the opposite end of the,
yeah,
you went to the opposite end of the spectrum, bro.
I did not.
You were trying to be a bad friend. That's a bad friend.
It's not. It's just simply not. It's not. This is what you need to do tomorrow. Before you post the video for all those not in the business, it's okay. You need to
not the 1980s, Caleb.
You need to post a poll. And let the people of Sports Nonsense and Whiskey Universe decide what you're.
And we all we give it until next episode. So you got it. So that way we all can share it to everybody and whatnot. And we get actual.
Do you want me to? So do we put it out as a? Give us a suggestion, and the one that has the most suggestions, or I name a couple and let people vote.
2 of the options need to be mine: Jack Daniels and the cherries. Okay. Then pick like 3 or 4 other options. And then one of those should be an other. And hopefully if somebody votes other, they then throw it in the comments for you to decide what happens. Biggie, wild turkey is a bad idea. That leads to bad decisions every single time. I love me some wild tea, but you have to be willing to make mistakes.
I do like wild turkey American honey. That one's good.
Anybody familiar with the podcast is familiar with our good buddy Chase Cotton. Comes on, does some golf for us. Chase and I go way back. Chase will second. He will concur with wild turkey is not something you do unless you're ready for a wild evening. Period. End of story. There's no reason to bring wild turkey into the picture on a calm, enjoyable Sunday football day. You just don't do that. That's not Big E. What are you trying to do to the people here? What are you trying to do?
I know. And usually if the Broncos score enough touchdowns, that gets me rip roaring ready into Sunday night football. So I got to be careful.
Right. Hopefully. Exactly. Biggie, I will say this, just since you're here this evening, hello. Pleasure to have you back. We haven't heard from you in a while. I was wrong about Baker. I was wrong, Biggie. My bad. I was wrong about Baker.
I mean, I could see that. I can see that happening.
Okay, Biggie. Well, yeah, there you go. Thank you for clarification on that, good sir.
No fights here. No fights in Colorado.
Cheers to you, good sir.
We're all family. I just like to. I do like to make it a thing when the Broncos score a touchdown. We do a shot. So Jack Daniels, moonshine cherries. Tequila,
label it jar of moonshine cherries so people kind of get an idea of what you're.
Tequila.
Okay. No, you got to pick a brand. We got to be specific.
I do this. I buy the Sam's Club brand because it's like $20 for a gigantic bottle.
Okay, we'll just say the Sam's Club equivalent tequila. You know, like be specific when you label this out, my guy, so that when you say
Like
other,
when I did the poll for the movies, you got to be specific with the alcohol you're going to be drinking.
You've
can't
seen
just be
me
like,
do
what?
these before. You've seen me do them. You've seen Robert do them. Be specific. Throw out 5 or 6 options, and then do an other and other. Put like parentheses. Comment what it should be. You know, give the people some direction. Throw it up, and by the end of it, whatever the universe picks, you have to agree to. That's what you're taking shots of, and that means even if the universe ends up saying Jack Daniels, that is what you're going with, sir. So you have to be prepared for a situation where you not be entirely thrilled.
That just means I'll double up. I'll buy something for the wife and Junior. Well, no, Junior can man up. I'll buy something for the wife to shoot, and then me and Junior.
Fine. You're the only one that has to be held to this. I will say I will gladly be held to this when I get the opportunity to watch a game with you. I usually get at least one a year.
I'll be doing it too. So, except I'll be doing it for the Lions. I'll just be clear on that.
I'll throw back to. But yeah, let's let the universe decide, Pinky. Let's see what happens.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, I'll put that out tomorrow.
Ask Hannah what she would want. Throw her option on there. You know, get a little input. But I'd say
she's a follower. She can get in on a vote.
There you go. 5 or 6 options, and one of them being other, and put in parentheses for other. Comment what you think it should be. And if we get enough others, and the majority there's a majority of comments that say something, then we'll roll with it. We'll see. We'll make an executive decision if. The most of the votes are other, but there's 3 votes for.
Ooh, I'll have to put orange soda vodka shots on there. Yeah. You never done that?
Well, I make it a drink. I don't pour orange vodka. I mean, whipped cream vodka and orange soda.
No, just vodka and orange soda.
Oh, dude, you're missing then. You got to get the whipped cream vodka and orange soda.
Because
when fall comes around, I actually make an alcoholic version of the Harry Potter butterbeer.
Ooh, how? Yeah. What do you use?
So I use whipped cream vodka, the whipped cream vodka or schnapps, vanilla vodka, butterscotch schnapps, and I like because I used to. When I lived in Germany, I worked at a cafe, so I baristaed for a while. So I lined the glass like just a normal Stein or whatever with caramel, and then I layer the alcohol in, and then I add some. I'll make my own whipped cream with like heavy cream and stuff with butterscotch in it, and then I'll make it with that, and then I'll go to town. It's so good.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds delicious, but Robert's trying to put you on your ass with one.
Oh, yeah, it'll fuck you up to next Tuesday. Don't get me wrong.
He's trying to put me in a diabetic coma as well, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, there's a combination of things happening here for sure. Yes.
Okay. And cream soda. I forgot to mention the most key ingredient.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Probably delicious. I'll have one of those and then go to bed.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
Final thoughts, gentleman Robert.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna decide whether or not blood will be drawn here in about an hour when I finish the Acolyte. So that'll be curious and exciting to get through. But I'm really excited for specifically this division because I've got a lot of buddies that are Colts fans. But a lot of my family's based in Houston. So I kind of followed the Texans for a lot of the time. So I'm really hoping the Texans are still going to be a blowout show this season with everybody being healthy. All injuries aside, Pinky.
I didn't bring up Texans injuries.
I know. I know. I just had to dig there, but without any injuries, I think the Texans are going to just be a blowout team. I think they're going to be great. But it's sports. That's the beauty of it. Anything's possible. We'll get to see what happens here soon.
Pinky.
Well, first of all, Robert, go fuck yourself. And
gladly.
And
gladly. I've been waiting for a dig this whole time, and I got one, so I'll fucking take that.
You're learning the wrong things from Caleb. Don't be a dick.
Oh, I'm learning all the right things.
I didn't give him a reason tonight, and he was just waiting. And I didn't give him a reason. He couldn't just do a random. He needs that. He needs a true reason.
I need a hook. That was a bait and hook, and I had it. That was there.
Yeah.
It was there for the taking.
You caught the random spray tonight. Like,
don't take it away.
Yeah, he had that shit chambered. And he's like, "Fuck it, this isn't getting let out."
I catch the random stray all the time. It's what happens.
Bullshit. You put yourself in that position.
I mean, it's for the comedy. It's what the funny fat guy does. What the hell?
This guy.
Is there anything going on this week? I don't even know. Nothing's going on.
Nothing goes
Nothing's going on.
10 days. Or wait, no.
Deadpool next weekend. SummerSlam 2 weeks after that.
Olympics in 10 days.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Pinky, you're the only one who doesn't.
Let's go Serbia.
The Open Championship kicks off Thursday. It's going to be awesome. Open? If you want to call it the British Open, that's fine. It is the Open Championship. It kicks off Thursday. It's going to be awesome. Check it out.
Biggie's
Injuries are a bitch. They're going to happen to everybody. We'll wait and see what happens.
Biggie. Damn it, Biggie.
Man. That's why Biggie and I get along.
Biggie's from West Virginia. I don't think the state even knows the Olympics are going on.
Oh,
whoa, easy.
Damn. Went
easy.
For the knees.
Dude. Come on, Biggie. Come on. That was gentle. That was gentle compared to what you guys are used to hearing. I know. I know. Look, as always, football started today. Rookies reported. Things are going to move quickly here. The Olympics are coming up. We got some golf. There are other beautiful things happening. Stick with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. As always, do not hesitate to spend those moments that you get with those family, friends, loved ones, inner circle when they present themselves. Do not take them for granted. Cherish them. Take advantage of them whenever you can. We appreciate all of you. Big E, holla, my guy. To everyone that supports us, thank you. We truly means the world to us. We'll be back next Tuesday. Until then, we're out. Peace.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle.